These are two great videos. One, sometimes when it comes from women, it kind of resonates with women much more. Um, there's a concept that I use called the monogamy mirage. I'm not sharing my man. The monogamy mirage. Women possessed remarkable intellect, intuition. Women have this intuition, resilience, determination, discernment, but uh, they have this wonderful instinct of almost all things. Um, but when confronted with the issue of men and monogamy, they're just as dumb as a box of rocks. I mean, they've never seen it. Most women, once they get to their 30s, have never seen faithful men, but they still keep talking about, I'm going to find that one. That's why it's a mirage. Um, they seem to have those rose-tinted glasses on and dive headfirst into the land of delusion. You know, have this cozy little bubble of denial. You know, who thinks their man would never do anything, but yet they have been in relationship after relationship and have seen that this does not exist. However, though, even though someone has this cognitive dissonance and they disregard reality, it has a way of, manifesting itself. Denial may provide a fleeting respite, but it manifests itself, It is imperative to acknowledge the impact of deliberate ignorance. And women are so cool but man, when it comes to that, women ignore the reality for fantasy. Almost all women over 30 have experienced this. They leave one cheating man for another cheating man so they can have the fantasy of being in control. Despite going into the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it's like getting to those ages, they persist in a pattern of engaging in transit relationships, allowing different men to enter their bodies intimately one after the other, looking for that elusive monogamy, lifelong commitment party, a never-ending carnival of casual encounters where the merry-go-round of romance keeps spinning without reaching the I do destination. It is a hilarious spectacle to witness how women will give them their whole selves, and to men who consistently lie to them. It's amusing, enduring for me to listen to this enduring trials and tribulations of the dating game while hoping that someday they'll find a man willing to put the ring on it. Oh, of course, they say somebody wanted to. That's just men talking. If it doesn't happen, it's not real. And there's another issue of forced polygamy. When you look at the data, almost 95% of women under 30 find themselves unknowingly, knowingly, or in these pseudo, I don't say polygamous, or polygynous because it's, many times these guys do not have a responsibility for these women. So I'll just go pseudo polygynous relationships. And the statistics bear that out. It is also interesting that on one side, women practice this by having many baby fathers, multiple baby fathers. Some women have participated in pornography. Some have been with athletes doing all kind of things, sharing people. But when they get a man who has their back or a man who really loves them, they enforce monogamous expectations on those men. Oh, they've had their fun. They've done, whatever. And not only that, in the practice of polygamy comes very contradictory in the context of single motherhood, which expresses a desire for an exclusive husband while simultaneously expecting him the responsibilities of raising another man's milk. Okay? Another man's children. It could be 1, 2, or 3 men expecting traditional notions of a monogamous relationship. Women have this talent of embracing what is called selective polygamy. They wholeheartedly encourage men to shower love and care of another man's offspring, happily blurring the lines of traditional monogamy. It's as if they have invented a new form of polygamy. The lines of traditional monogamy is super blurred when it comes to them. But hey, let's give credit where credit is due. These women have mastered the art of stretching love to accommodate another man's milk. It's like we got to give her a standing ovation to navigate the intricate dynamics of blended families without men even understanding these dynamics. And research and from anthropologists and sociologists and psychologists have really examined the impact of the psychology of single mothers, serial dating, or women who have these unstable relationships and how it affects their children, particularly the boys. I've always said this. What boy, think about it for a second. If a woman is dating, quote unquote, right? She's dating one man this year, another man next year, another man next year. How does that have an effect on these children? How does that have an adverse effect on their social and emotional development? Because children know, from a sociological perspective, children who witness their mothers dating different men have disruptions in familial stability, family stability, which often leads to insecurity, confusion, and psychological research does suggest that boys, especially boys who see these different men, struggle with issues as like aggression, internalizing behavior, low self-esteem, difficulties in forming relationships later on in life. So inconsistent presence of male figures contributes to abandonment or rejection, and the list goes on. But there's another issue that affect a lot of women who say they aren't going to share. I think I mentioned this earlier. Almost 90% of women are sharing. They just don't like to deal with that reality. And I would submit to you, I would say this. If a man wants to practice it, usually men who are upfront about that are usually just more honest. Usually they're much more stable to even suggest that. And if a man isn't sneaking around, it's just a much more safer relationship as far as diseases and things of that nature. However, Shahar Ali kind of says it best. The other brother kind of says it best and goes through. Well, he allows a woman. I'm gonna stop talking and let you look at these two videos, which are very impactful in my opinion.
So could you share your man with somebody if he gave you everything you wanted?
I share these men for less because they're going to go cheat anyway.
They're going to go cheat anyway.
So if I know for sure that he's going to give me everything I wanted, I will voluntarily share. Because we involuntarily share these men all the time. They cheat. My man probably cheating as we speak. I don't give a damn. I'm working.
Literally. Like, what I'm going to do, stop it?
Yeah, we don't stop it. I've been cheated on. You've been cheated on. You've been cheated on. The person who watching this, the person who comment about to get cheated on. If you've been cheated on,
so could you
one woman,
right,
and never desiring to have another before
right.
slavery, during slavery, or after slavery?
That's
the black
the
man
truth.
has never been recorded to have just one woman.
Right. Well, I think there's some actual facts we can look at on that. Monogamy has failed for the white man in America.
But this is like saying it's okay.
It's not me saying it's okay. This is how they're living. I'm giving you the history of what their life is. Black men haven't been waiting on me to tell them it's all right to have more than one woman. Neither have white men. You know, this is just what they do. I'm not talking about fornication and adultery. I'm not talking about one-night stands and running around rampant with other women. That's not the kinds of when I say more than one woman relationship. Mm-hmm. I mean that before we came to America, our men had more than one wife and family. And we were satisfied with it because we had not met the monogamy idea. We had not met the American white woman who, you know, insists on certain kinds of values in her man. We had not learned envy and jealousy. All right, after coming here, those kinds of ideas were bred into us because of society and the mores that the Americans made up here. And so then we started to have problems with that. But I think that since it is apparent that most of them, not all of them, it's certainly up to the man, do love more than one woman. I got tons of mail. A lot of black men write and tell me that they have had two women for 5, 10, 15, and 20 years, and they can't even get the women to speak to each other. Sometimes they have two families,
Would I want
two sets of children.
But Shares, would I want to talk to a woman who's sharing perhaps the bed and the money and the social life with who I would deem as my man?
If you want to deal in reality, and if you are not insecure, and if you don't think that that robs you of something, you would want to know them. If he loves her, you certainly should want to know her.
There are a lot of black women out there who say,
"Oh, I know
Sister,
they're mad about that idea. I understand, you know."
That would
that's
never
not
hold
easy.
water.
Wait a minute, that's not easy. And that's a frightening thought to most of us. And I don't like that. I'm not for that. I'm in agreement with everybody else. Our men ought to just have one woman. But that is not the reality. I'm trying to get us to deal with some reality for a change. Stop dealing with fantasy. Stop dealing with television. Stop dealing with imagination of how we wish things were. Let's deal with them how they are, what it is, present tense. And
but
if we
because
deal
that's
with that,
happening
then,
doesn't mean I have to like that or
no,
want
that
to
means
accept
that you can live in hell. That means you can live in doubt. That means that you can always be checking on your man. That means that you can be insecure and be, you know, tearful. And that means you can be disappointed when you find out the real truth. And you don't want to have that in your life. None of us do. But in order not to have that, then we have to deal with some reality and recognize that men are not limited in the way that women are. Men are able to love more than one woman. I'm not talking about, as I said, just a random sexual relationship of fornication and adultery and all of that. I mean that there are many black men who have children by more than one woman. What is to become of those children? They need their father.
But if you would cheat on me or walk out on me...
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. We have to get into definition. Who told us that was cheating? Where did that idea come from that that's cheating? And I'm not saying that a lot of men are not just running around. I'm not talking about that. Mm-hmm. But if a woman finds out that her man has been with a woman while she's been with him for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's a serious commitment and relationship. And if it hasn't taken anything from me, if I'm not going short of anything, and if this is what he thinks his responsibility is, then what kind of hell are you going to go through to prevent that? Since we cannot stop him, we have not been successful. The white woman has not been successful in stopping the white man from having another woman. They call them a mistress. We pick up a lot of that terminology. But a man who has 2 women, that's not necessarily a mistress. That's just his other woman. Now we got 2 choices. We can be the woman or the other woman. We don't have but those 2. Now I know we don't like that. I don't like that. You know, but that's the reality of our life at some point. Now it's up to the man. But every man doesn't want 2 women, but those that do, they're going to do it.
What about our morals and our religion?
Whose religion? Whose morals? Not our religion, because we're not practicing the religion of black people anymore. That was taken from us. We don't have our morals anymore. That was taken from us. So whose idea are you representing when you stand up for those values? Not ours. Somebody else's. Some other nationality. And it may work for them. But it doesn't work for us. It hasn't worked for anybody, really, but nobody wants to deal with the truth. Monogamy was only created because of the economics of it.
Is he lying to you, or are you lying to yourself? Come here. Let's be honest, beautiful women. It's your biological clock ticking. It's the societal pressure. It's the illusion in your head. Those fantasies in your brain. That's what is messing with you. Oftentimes, men did not do you anything. Yes. Oftentimes, you just hurt yourself with all the myth that you create. A lot of women live with how it's supposed to be, not how it is. Some of you see the reality, but you close your eyes to your fantasies. I just want to remind you that he didn't really break your heart. You broke your own heart with your own lies. Women are one of the biggest liars. They don't just lie, they lie to themselves. So here is me reminding you that most times all those hurt, all those pain, you cry, you wallow in. It's not men. It's just you lying to yourself. I'm sorry. The truth hurts. I'm sorry.
Whoo! She said it. I didn't. She said it. But she's right. This goes back to my first statement. Women create fantasies in their heads. They lie to themselves and then cry victim when those fantasies haven't been fulfilled by a man. Then they blame the man for lying, when most of the time the man is just bullshitting her on her lie. You think I'm the most beautiful girl in the world? Yeah, baby, sure you're most beautiful. You like my ass in this dress? Yeah, baby, of course. That's a nice ass. You think these nails are gorgeous? Oh my God, it took me like 4 hours today. Click, click, click. Aren't they beautiful? Aren't they beautiful? Oh, baby, those are beautiful. What about my weave? You like my weave? You like my weave? You like my... Jesus. Men, we get pulled into this shit. And the second we tell them the truth, we're the bad person. Oh, you're just a hater. You're just trying to bring me down. You just this. You're just a narcissist. You don't want me to feel good. You don't want... They want the freaking lie, and men have to come on board with that lie. And men get sick of it. We're sick of going into their fantasy with them. It's exhausting. And then you blame these men. Men freaking tell each other, so boss, what do you think my shirt open and a little oil on my chest? Boss, you look gay. Stop that shit. Are you gay? Stop it. What do you think of these pants, man? Make me look. It makes you look like a retard. Go and change your pants. That's what men do to each other. We are brutally honest. But the fantasies that we have to freaking uphold in women's head just to get along with you all, exhausting.
Women don't have a problem communicating as long as the problem is outside of her. You see what I'm saying? When we get to talking about communication, a lot of women are open as hell to it when you complaining to her about your homeboy who not doing right, or you complaining to her about your career that may not be going how you wanted to go. But when she's the issue, the communication don't be as back and forth. It don't be as open. It don't be like it should be. Now all of a sudden it's super defensiveness. Now all of a sudden you're not letting me finish sentences. Now all of a sudden it becomes a bunch of resistance.
Okay, so let's talk about it. The same way that you say that that as men, y'all want women to create a safe space for y'all, sometimes you have to do that for us too. So just like y'all want us to cut up things in sizes that's digestible for y'all, maybe y'all can tell us things in ways that's digestible for us as well.
In other words, lie to us. Like I just said, the second a woman is under any degree of scrutiny and we tell you the truth, we gotta cut it up into digestible pieces so that it can be absorbed by her. In other words, bullshit her. That is what men have to do to get around women's freaking fantasies. It's exhausting.
A woman who lies to you